Hey guys, how you doing? Eric at SoCal Cigars. So today I have a really cool video for you. It was just my birthday a few weeks ago, and my wife has been surprising me with bringing me cigars for my birthday. And so what ends up happening is kind of funny. Maybe some of you could relate. She goes into a cigar shop, brick and mortar, and they always say, can we help you? Is there something we can help you find? And she's the type of, she's a Viking. She's not the one that needs anyone's help. So she'll always tell him, no, I'm good, I got it. Like, are you sure? Do you need us to help you? What's your husband like? And she's like, I've got it. And so this has happened several times now, and then she'll come up to the counter and she'll put out a selection of cigars that she picked, and they're always like, wow, these are really good, you did great. And she's like, yeah, whatever. It's like kind of funny. And again, it's kind of ironic because I know I've talked in the past about some bad experiences I've had in cigar shops, and this is from a female's perspective. Here my wife walks in, and it's just assumed by the people working there that she must not know much about cigars, and arguably she really doesn't, but she's also smart enough to be able to use deductive reasoning and look at what's where they are placed in the store, and some brands that she's heard of, and based on the price and based on the rating and based on how many are empty out of the box. If there's only one or two left, obviously people are buying them, so it doesn't take much to really walk through, and even if you don't know anything about it at all, to kind of glean some information based on what you're seeing. And so anyway, it's just kind of ironic and funny that she always walks out of there with them kind of going, wow, nice job, good selection. So anyway, she just did that, and I'm going to show you a little rundown of what we're going to do here. And what we're going to do is the Gurkha Ghost. And let's take a closer look at that right now. As you can see, it comes in a little tubo, which is kind of cool. I always kind of keep these, and I'm going to end up hot gluing these to like a board, making some art out of a bunch of these different tubes. And then as you can see here, the construction's beautiful. It looks leathery. It looks rich. The label is bitchin' with that kind of what do you call that? It almost reminds me of that old grip tape one in the 80s, that like reflective grip tape on a skateboard. Anyway, so as you can see, it's a bitchin' looking cigar. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to smoke this sucker. And I'm really excited about this one. And it's so funny, the irony of Gurkha is that it gets such a mixed response. So if you're new to the cigar world and you don't know much about Gurkha, it's kind of funny. You say Gurkha to some people and they're like, oh my God, those are crap. Those are cheap cigars. On the other hand, some of those cigars are incredible. Like one of my favorite cigars, like a non-infused, is the Gurkha War Pig. So if you ever have the opportunity to get a War Pig, I'll put a little picture up. Find these. These things are bitchin'. The Gurkha War Pig. And also, ironically, if you go search like the world's most expensive cigar, one of the top priciest cigars in the world is made by Gurkha. So they really do run the gamut from kind of the really low-end budget stuff all the way up to a cigar you'd have to pretty much sell your house for to buy. So anyway, before we crack into this thing, I wanted to say two things too. One, shout out to my son Kevin, who is making a cameo appearance in this video. So Kevin, why don't you come on? Okay. Oh, he's right here. That's my son Kevin. So this t-shirt is modeled after, this is actually graphic, what do they call it, like a rendering of my son. So he helps run one of the most well-known and scariest haunted houses in Southern California. And this is one of his characters that he portrays as he's working the haunt. He manages the people, but he's also will go into character, and he does like a clown on stilts. But this is one of the cooler characters, so he got me a shirt last time. So that was kind of cool. The Gurkha Ghost, and then this kind of cool, scary t-shirt. So anyway, shout out to my son. Thanks for the t-shirt. The other thing is, I'm going to throw you for a curve today on the pairing. I know you're expecting a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew, but believe it or not, with this Gurkha Ghost, I'm going to do a little Blue Label. So let's crack open the little Blue Label action here. Not much, because as you know, I don't drink much. But I just felt for some reason with this cigar, this just seemed appropriate. And again, just a tiny amount for me. But I figured with a cool cigar like that, I needed a cool drink, something different. Okay, let's break into this guy. So again, with a tubo, for those of you not too familiar with these, usually there's going to be like a little plug, just keeps the end from getting damaged, I guess. So you usually pull that out first, so don't think your cigar is falling apart. It's supposed to be there. And then, as we already saw, here is the Gurkha Ghost. Beautiful. That band, I do graphic design for a living and printing, and so for me, so impressed with the design of this band and the printing, and it's embossed. It's got that reflective material in it. Really bitchin'. I know it goes into this type of printing. It's very cool. And the construction is awesome. It's silky smooth. You know, kind of a subtle torpedo shape. Smells, God, it smells like a freaking chocolate cake. It's so rich and so creamy. Just amazing. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. So let's break open the kit, as you guys are all familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and do the deep V, even though it's that shape. Remember, we've talked about this, that there's no issues with cutting a torpedo style shape with a V cutter, as you will see in a moment. Shove her on in. And there you go. You can see that as a nice cut. Now let's see how she is. Nice draw. You know, it's funny. Even on the dry draw, you know what I'm getting immediately is cedar. Cedar immediately. So let's light this sucker up and see what we can't do here. Toasty toasty on the foot. You know the drill. A little windy here today, which is nice. For Southern California, it's kind of a gloomy gray. I live near a mountain. I can barely even see it. I don't know if there's a fire going on. I live where there's tons of fires, so I don't know if there's a fire, but it's almost kind of hazy and I don't know, kind of muddy looking out, and it's windy, which is kind of nice too, because if there's a fire, at least that usually blows it away, all the smoke. But usually I would have gotten a warning on my phone, because living in Southern California, you tend to be on a lot of earthquake notification things and stuff like that. In fact, the only notification I got this morning was that there was a mountain lion in the area. So that was it. See, get the sucker lid all the way. I know it's kind of hard right now because I can't see what I'm doing and the wind is blowing the flame. Got to be careful when you light. You know, you try not to heat it up too much. You try not to scorch the crap out of it, because you can interject a little bit of a bitter flavor. And again, I'm going to do one of those, something I don't normally do. I'm trying to remember to do it, get in that habit of doing it. It's where you blow the smoke back out after you light it. For some reason, people seem to think that helps with the bitterness. I don't know if it does or not, but I figured it's easy enough to do. So if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, whatever. Draw is really nice. It's not bitter, not too spicy. So let's get into the facts of the matter, shall we? I always, as you know, want to give you the raw data and make sure it's right. So I always print this stuff out so I can make sure to get you guys the proper data on this cigar. So this is the Gurkha Ghost. Here's what it says right from Gurkha's own website. It says the Gurkha Ghost is a sleek and alluring cigar that should make an appearance in anyone's humidor. The Ghost blend showcases a dark Brazilian Arapiraca, I know that's a place, and I'm butchering it, Maduro wrapper, complemented by an aged Criollo 1998 binder and carefully selected Dominican and Nicaraguan fillers. Ghost is a rich, medium-bodied cigar with a multi-layered flavor profile, providing sweet and earthy undertones with lingering flavors of cocoa and cinnamon. Rated a 93. So it told you a lot of that right there, but there's another, like a little rundown: wrapper, Brazilian Maduro; binder, Criollo; filler, Nicaraguan and Dominican; country of origin is the Dominican Republic; and the sizes they have is a 5x52 is called a Shadow. They have a Tubo Angel, the 6x52. They have a Phantom 5x58, Azura 6x54, and the Exorcist 6x60. And again, like it says, it's a medium-bodied cigar. So that's the that's the rundown of the official word from Gurkha. And I have such mixed feelings on looking at things like this ahead of time, because, you know, like I've already tasted cedar, which they don't mention cedar here. They do mention the earthy undertones and the cocoa and cinnamon, which I don't taste any cocoa or any cinnamon. Although, if you remember when I first smelled this cigar before I lit it, the first thing I said is it's like chocolate cake. So we'll see how this develops. Obviously, I'm barely into this thing, so we got to see what happens here. But I am getting a kind of a lingering flavor in my mouth. Concerningly, almost a little bit of a bitter flavor, but it could just be from the light. And we're not very into this, not very deep yet into this. So, yeah, for sure, I'm getting that. I do get the earthy notes. I still do get a little bit of that cedar, and I don't know if it's actually being a tubo, and it's, you know, I don't think this one's lined either. It's not. Sometimes the inside of these tubes are lined with a thin little cedar wrapper. So I don't know if the cedar is coming from the cigar or if it's coming from the storage of the cigar, but I do get a little bit of a cedar, which is nice. And I do get the earthy undertones. It is smooth. I'm kind of hoping that bittery aftertaste goes away, because I hate that. But it is a Maduro. Even though it's medium bodied, it is a Maduro. So you've got heavy oils and stuff like that in it. So you're going to get that mouth feel from it. But again, like I was starting to say, it does go to show you that, you know, here it tells me some flavors I should be tasting, and yet I'm tasting a couple, or I'm at least tasting one thing, the cedar, that it doesn't talk about. So that's why it goes to show you, it just depends on your palate. You know, it depends on what your body and configuration of all this finds. You know, again, it's, you know, people's tastes are different. Your taste buds are different. Your physiology is different. How much you're retrohaling. Maybe I'm retrohaling way more smoke than you are, so you're getting less than I am. There's so many factors. That's why I would only ever use, you know, this kind of data and other people's opinions, even, you know, obviously my opinion. At best, I'd say they're guidelines. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously, if there's a consensus that enough people are tasting cinnamon and cocoa, obviously they put that in there for a reason. You know, I mean, obviously when they make a blend, they put out the profile to at least give you some idea, because it's, you know, if nothing else, for marketing, saying, yeah, that sounds great to me. So, but we'll see. We're not into it very far. Can't really judge it yet. So I'd say the burn is looking good. The ash is looking healthy. The smoke output is really good too, because that's a big deal. I mean, I know there's some cigars where it seems like you're just having to draw the crap out of these things to get anything out of it. This is putting out a lot of smoke. All right, Skull. Let's see how this Johnny Walker Blue goes with this. It's good. Ooh, I can taste that like caramel in that. It's good. And always remember, when you're drinking something, that's going to affect it too. So, you know, now I'm going to be getting things from the Johnny Walker as well. But sometimes that's interesting to see how those things marry, you know. But so far, yeah, I mean, so far when it comes down to it, I dig the construction. I dig I know it's trivial, but I dig the wrapper. I appreciate the artwork. It's built beautifully. The ash is beautiful. You can tell. I mean, it feels like velvety. There's almost like a slight texture to it. It just feels. I mean, it feels like quality, which is just again ironic because sometimes the view of Gurkha is that they're crappy cigars, and I know people that swear by them. So again, that's the beauty of this is it's so subjective. My opinion and your opinion don't have to be the same. But anyway, so let me get a little deeper into this thing, and we will come back and maybe get down to that mid-stick level and see what develops here. So hang tight, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. Unfortunately, the ash just fell. This thing was looking bitchin'. It was about that tall, and the ash looked beautiful, just like it looked before I took this break. And I was just about to get back on, and it fell. But the burn is great. The construction, like I said, you can tell the construction is good by the way the ash a lot of times is a good indicator of that. So, and I've been visited. There's 4 ducks flying a pattern around my house here, which has been kind of cool. I don't know if you can ever hear it on video, but because I've got a what they call a dead cat on my speaker, so it muffles other sounds, and it's a directional speaker for me. But I keep hearing ducks rotating around the sky above me and quacking. So I don't know if you can hear it, but anyway, interesting day in Southern California, But anyway, I'm gonna continue to tell you about this guy because it's developed a bit here. One thing I'll tell you too is I've had no issues relighting this thing because sometimes you get cigars that sometimes it's a humidity issue, but I know my humidity right now in my humidor, believe it or not, given all the issues I've had, is like pretty much 74, 68. So I know the humidity is good, at least for where I like it. So a lot of times the issues are really that it's a loose roll on the leaf. But this thing I've never relit at all. It's just burned great. Even when I've taken a pause here and I wasn't hitting it over and over and over, it was still staying lit, no problem. So it's nice when you don't have to keep relighting a cigar, because I'll tell you, every time you relight, it seems to get a little more bitter. I hate having to relight a cigar. But I will say, as I'm getting into this, that aftertaste I was concerned about being bitter. It hasn't. It's become kind of a pleasant aftertaste, and it is. I know I said chocolate cake, which to me kind of indicates more sweet. Cocoa to me is a little more like, I think of like 70% like cocoa, like dark chocolate. I do get that little bit of aftertaste in my mouth as an aftertaste. There is a little hint of cocoa. I'm not really sure if I'm getting the cinnamon or not. I mean, I think unfortunately it can become a placebo effect because you've been told now you should be tasting it. But there is something else there, and maybe it is a little bit of a cinnamon flavor, but they are dead on the cocoa, the earthiness, and I still have that back flavor of cedar still, which is really pleasant. Yeah, it's still burning. It's a little wonky right there after the ash fell. But overall, it's been great. I mean, I have no complaints about the quality of this. Yeah, it's really flavorful. It's really rich tasting. I know for being a medium bodied cigar, it's really, I don't know how to put it. It's really robust, thick flavor. I'm actually going to I'm going to hit this a little bit again with a lighter, even though I normally hate to do this, but I'm starting to notice I'm having to draw on it pretty heavy. And to be honest with you, I would rather hit it with the lighter again than keep trying to draw and draw and draw, because then you're kind of hotboxing it and you'll start to get that bitterness in there, and I don't want to do that. So it's the lesser of two evils to me. I'd rather draw on it less and have to relight a little bit than it just kind of sucks, because I just said I hadn't had to relight this thing, and then immediately I had to relight it. But cigars. God, it's like a mouthful of flavor. It's so rich and creamy, and the term keeps coming to mind. It's like a thick flavor. I think the oils from the wrapper, they really coat the inside of your mouth. You really get a lot of flavor from this. This is a very, very flavorful cigar. And again, it's not overly complex. It's not like you're getting 15 different flavors out of it. You're getting that earthiness. I'm getting that cedar. I'm getting a little bit of that cocoa and something else. And maybe it is the cinnamon. I'm just not really getting it 100%. But that's really kind of all it is, which is a lot. Especially given some cigars seem to be a single note. This is pretty good. But for those flavors that are there, there's a lot of it. It's really thick and flavorful. It's really good. And it's funny. By no means am I a whiskey or pro by any means, but I really do taste like that kind of a caramel flavor out of this. So if you've never had the Johnny Walkers, getting something up like to the level of a Blue Label is really bitchin'. And I will tell you one thing, a plug to my buddy Michael Juergens. If you watch this, besides being a wine aficionado, I can't remember what it's called. Is it a sommelier or whatever that's called, where you have to take these radical tests and you have to be able to taste all these wines and be able to basically tell where it's from, what region, what kind of everything perfect. He did that and passed that. He's one of the few in the, country or whatever it is that is that. And he was telling me, because besides the wine, he also is involved in a rum company that he helped start. This is just a little pro tip for you if you are a whiskey drinker. He had told me that what he had talked to Johnny Walker and was told is that their green label is a lot less expensive, because I think this Blue Label is about $186 for this bottle, but they make a green label and it's more like, I think, like $80. And what he said is the green label is pretty much exactly like the Blue Label, except it missed the mark by like 2%. He goes, so if you like the Blue Label, but you don't want to spend almost $200 on it, he said to get the green label, and you're pretty much getting the Blue Label minus maybe 2%. It just didn't make it. So you're pretty much getting the same thing for less than half the price. Anyway, you're welcome, and thanks, Mike. Yeah, this thing's awesome. So I would definitely say if you are a non-infused guy, this is a fantastic cigar. I would say for Gurkha, it is hit and miss. I mean, I've had plenty of Gurkhas that I didn't like. But again, one of my favorite standard cigars is the Gurkha War Pig. This Gurkha Ghost is fantastic. So I would definitely say if you like a earthy, rich, really flavorful, like a really bang for your buck, packed full of flavor, this is that cigar. I would highly recommend you get this if that sounds like you. And another shout out, I just ordered some cigars last night on the information given to me by a good friend of mine that I ride with, Colby. What's up, dude? He turned me on to a cigar last night that, if you like acids like I do, this was like an acid deep dish on steroids. I smelt this cigar and I wanted to eat this thing. It was amazing. So I ordered some last night. I cannot wait to do that review. So thank you, Colby, for that. And that's a cool thing about the cigar community that we're all in. I'm getting whiskey information. I'm getting information from my buddies saying, dude, you got to try this cigar. You're going to totally dig it. That's kind of the cool thing about this, is sharing information and, hey, try one of these and trade these and that, it's really cool. So anyway, I think we're pretty good on this one. I'm not going to, again, smoke it to a nub. I never do. But I would definitely say kudos on the cigar. It's definitely worthy of a 93 rating that it apparently has. Very flavorful, packs a good amount of flavor. So I would say that if you are in the market for that type of cigar and you're like a medium bodied cigar person, but you do like that rich Maduro wrapper, man, this will definitely hit the mark for you. So I would highly say the Gurkha Ghost was a success, and I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks to my wife for picking such an awesome cigar. I appreciate that. Anyway, maybe go check one of these suckers out. Anyway, Eric and SoCal Cigars. I'm going to continue to finish my Gurkha Ghost, and I'm going to finish my little bit of Johnny Walker Blue Label, and enjoy the rest of this weekend. And I hope you do the same thing, and I hope you get out in your backyard maybe and smoke a cigar, hopefully with maybe some friends down the road, hopefully. Anyway, again, enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video, which is going to be a good one.